God said, keep Shabbos. God said, do not do labor on Shabbos. Why?
You're not just going to be God's thing.
Because it's supposed to symbolize that he didn't, well, he would have had to do something on Shabbos or else everything would have ceased to exist.
Because I think Earth is like the main, planet.
You told us to?
Why did he tell us?
Question.
Yeah.
I did.
Because he wanted us to.
Because
So listen to this fantastic.
We don't know God's thought process.
Listen to this fantastic.
We've been working on it.
Go back to the beginning. Only God exists. Nothing else. Nothing. Not up, not down, not light. See, the problem with evolution? In order for evolution to work, you have to assume the existence not only of two things, hundreds of things. Like the particles and the gases collided. Collide? Who created that? Who created friction or conflict? It exploded. Who created exploding?
It wasn't an explosion.
The heat was where did heat come from? And then it cooled down. How did that happen?
What's it cool?
Right. So when we say there was nothing, we mean literally, there was nothing. Nothing. If there was nothing, what made God create the world?
Boredom.
Listen. If there was nothing besides him, what made him create the world? The answer is nothing. Nothing made him create the world. It had to be an internal, something about him that needs the world. Have you ever heard this before?
Yeah. I've always thought that.
No, I've never.
That God needs the world?
I've never heard
it, but wants it.
I've heard of it, but I never heard it.
It'd be pretty lonely just be there.
So here's the point. God created the world out of a desire. Where did that desire come from? It didn't come from anywhere. It's him. Because there was only him. So when he says, I want you to keep Shabbos, for what? It can't be for what? There's just him.
He wants to flex, so.
So why does he want you to keep Shabbos? That's just him.
Are we making the assumption that God cannot be actioned upon?
Well, of course. There was nothing to act upon him. So listen to this. If you were to ask God, you ready for this? Ask God, why do you want me to separate meat and milk? You know what God would say?
Just because I don't know.
I don't know.
What do you mean?
No.
Mystery
But we
continues.
cannot assume.
I don't know.
We can't assume that God
So
can
wait a
do
minute.
that.
Don't you know everything?
He has to.
Hang on. Doesn't he know everything?
Yeah.
He knows everything there is to know. And when he wants you to separate meat and milk, there's nothing to know. He doesn't have a reason.
Sure he does.
Why would there be a reason?
Yeah.
Those are also things that he created.
Exactly. Reason was created as part of creation. He wanted separation, and he wanted Shabbos, and he wanted tefillin before he created the
There's
world.
also no such thing as good or bad or anything.
Exactly. He doesn't want you to be good.
So they're pointless.
it's like-
Why are they valuable? If there's no
God
reason?
cannot be actioned upon, true?
God just wanted you to make your own decisions, not to do good things or bad things.
God cannot be actioned upon, right?
Does your mother love you for a good reason?
Nope.
No.
Unconditional.
Instincts. But
God
isn't
cannot be actioned
good
Does she
or
love you for a bad reason?
Information can cause
completely objective? No. Isn't good
There's
or bad
no reason.
subjective?
If she needs a reason to love you, you're in trouble.
Yeah, once that reason's gone,
Real.
Do you need a reason to live?
Some people do.
I do.
Some people do because they're suicidal.
It's a mental illness.
You should not need a reason to live.
Does because I said so count as a reason?
Not anymore. It don't fly.
Okay, then I'm good.
So when God says a mitzvah, he's describing himself. This is me. If you were God, you would want the same thing. For what reason? Reason doesn't make God. God makes reason. So the mitzvahs are not some plan that he has. The mitzvahs are him.
He cannot be action even by himself.
So when you ask him, why do you want me to separate meat and milk? His answer is, that's me. If you were God, that's what you would want.
But that's
In other words, it didn't get added on for a reason. Let me put the question differently. At what stage did God decide that he wants kosher?
there is no stage. He's outside of time.
Exactly. There was never a time when there was a God and there was no Shabbos.
The mitzvahs give him pleasure, you know?
Before the world was created, God wanted Shabbos.
God is
Gives
outside
him
of
pleasure.
time.
So the mitzvahs are not something he thought up, and therefore
Well, everything he had there.
he can't change it.
Yes, he.
Can God decide that he doesn't want you to keep Shabbos?
Yeah,
Sure, why
No.
not?
He can't.
but that's a limitation.
No, that's him.
That's a
That in
limitation.
itself
Why
is a
is-
limitation.
Why could he have a
Yeah, but
him?
it's a different.
Why does he have to have a him? Which is that a limitation?
Limited in any aspect.
Him instead of a her.
No, instead of anything, he could just decide to change whenever he wants.
He can't change being God.
I know what I was
But
thinking.
He can't not be God.
infinite.
Isn't that a limitation?
No.
As far as that, no.
As far as
On the contrary, if he could stop being God, then he's not really God.
Yeah,
These ideas.
Like if you could stop being male,
Because God wants Shabbos. So
you're not really male?
it's a limitation.
What does it mean that the mitzvahs is him? What does it mean Shabbos is Hashem? Like, Hashem doesn't have any parts or anything to him.
There's no
So,
restrictions.
I think we get the impression that God made up mitzvahs as he went along.
Well,
Like, he created a donkey and he said, should people eat this? No, don't eat donkeys. He created a donkey as an animal that he doesn't want you to eat. The mitzvah didn't come after the fact. The fact came out of the mitzvah.
but that's
maybe it's because some animals offended
That's a
him, and he was
sequence.
like, you guys should eat that.
If God is
Okay.
outside of time, then he could have decided before he created
How
the
can God
donkey
decide?
that we
Wait,
can't
what he
eat.
could have, I think the argument is how could God
He
decide?
wanted animals you don't eat, so he created a donkey.
But that's the
Isn't it-
sequence.
So we
He
can disobey him?
wanted, so he made.
Yeah, you
Right.
would have,
Maybe he wants
God
us
is
to
outside of
disobey him.
time.
But the mitzvah always existed. That's why he created the donkey.
I can't be the other way.
Chicken or the egg?
You tell me.
Yes.
yeah.
Why does Hashem
Yes.
create a
Yes.
mule?
Oh,
Or mosquitoes.
no, please, let's just kill all of those ones.
So, again, if we think that God can change the mitzvah, we don't understand what a mitzvah is. It's him. So the Torah is not describing our obligations. The Torah is describing him. It's an autobiography.
That would require.
In fact, you should try doing this sometime. I don't know why the Torah is written in third person. Right? In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. Who just said that? God is speaking,
The Torah.
No, God isn't speaking.
and he's saying God created.
Hey, God can refer to himself as whatever he wants.
Huh?
It's an autobiography.
So imagine
No, God
if instead of speaking in third person, Imagine if the Torah was written in first person.
I wouldn't like it as much.
Then it would be
In the beginning,
condensed into a non-language.
Wait, don't jump to
To Moshe.
In the beginning, I created heaven and earth. And I told Adam and Eve not to eat from the tree. But they did. So I had to throw them out.
Like a diary.
Huh?
Like a diary.
Yes.
Bad reason for it.
Yes. It's God's diary.
That requires a time frame.
So don't be fooled by the third person thing. So we forget that it's God himself speaking. So God says to Moshe, tell the people that when they wear a four-cornered garment, I need them to put strings in each of the corners. That would sound so much more personal. Instead it says, tell the people that on their four-cornered garments they have to have strings. Something gets lost. And that's why it sounds like commandments.
Well, isn't it?
But in the
Nobody-
Torah, it says
Nobody's interested in commandments.
but God himself calls them precepts or commandments.
Hang on. God is telling you what he needs from you. It's not a commandment. It's much more important than a commandment. It's his need.
God doesn't need
He needs his limitations.
Huh?
He needs it, that means that he's incomplete without it.
Does God have an arm?
No.
Sure.
Does God have a nose?
No.
But yet we still say his hand
Yes,
like
no,
Passover
maybe.
over that.
Wait, isn't that a metaphor?
If he doesn't have something, he's incomplete.
Does he have eyes?
No.
enter a word
Okay.
here that does not exist because it is
Let me enlighten you on this.
no.
Listen to this.
No.
If God doesn't have an arm, why does the Torah say God's arm? If God doesn't have eyes, why did the Torah say his eyes?
Or else we wouldn't understand it because we can't go on the logical path of.
Right.
It's a metaphor.
That's what all the rabbis will
God
tell
in
you.
our image.
Right?
Our image.
Yeah.
It's
a metaphor.
The Torah is trying to help us understand. It doesn't help us understand
Just-
when you tell me he has eyes and he doesn't.
I love and hate what he's implying.
So what is that called in English?
I love and hate it.
It's called anthropomorphic. You know what that means?
Yes.
It means furries.
Anthro means humans, like anthropology. Anthropomorphic means you're attributing human characteristics to God.
I just said personification.
So if God does not have eyes, only human beings have eyes, and you say God's eyes, you're simply lying. You're not helping me understand anything. You're confusing me.
What about the small brain peasants?
So let me give you turn the whole thing upside down. Do human beings have arms?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does a doll have arms?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are those real arms?
No.
They shouldn't.
Why?
They're made out of plastic.
They can't do anything.
Well, I mean, for
Form, they don't have the use of a hand or the arm.
Angles have
These days,
arms.
dolls use.
A plastic arm is obviously not a real arm. Obviously. It should also be obvious that an arm made out of a bone with skin is not a real arm. It's a pathetic little thing.
All language and description is made up.
And the proof is an arm should be able to split a sea. Can your arm split a sea?
No.
Yes and no.
No.
God doesn't speak. Human beings speak. Really?
The water cannot.
God said, let there be, and there was. You try it.
Let there be animals.
So who really speaks?
Elliot's on there.
Who really has an arm? So why is it anthropomorphic?
It's not.
It's not.
That's
We're the
that's
anthropomorphic.
just a word.
It's theopomorphic.
It's just a word.
You're attributing godly things to the human being.
It's just a word.
It's just
Since we are created in God's image, since he has an arm, we have something like an arm. Since he speaks, we do something like speak. Since he has eyes, we also have something like eyes. Now it helps us understand. You don't really know what his eyes are like, but a little bit they're like yours. There's a right eye, a left eye. Right? You don't know what his arm is really like, but from your arm you can see it extends to the right, it extends to the left, it reaches across a distance. That's God's arm. So now we've got it straight. We don't have what he doesn't. How did that happen? He doesn't have eyes, we have eyes. He can't speak, we can speak. What are you talking about? What are you saying? Where do we get something he doesn't have? It's like parents who want to give their children what they never had.
I'm going to give you a train.
If you never had it, you can't give it to your children. So, now we got it straight. God has needs? No, human beings have needs. God has a real need, and we have pathetic needs.
But need means you're not complete without it, and that's a limitation, and God is outside of limitation.
That's a human definition. The limitation does not apply to God. But how can, like for example, did God create the world for a purpose?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Does he need that purpose? No. What kind of ridiculous purpose is that?
Which level are you talking about?
Fine.
Do we say that
Payment?
He created the world for a purpose that he doesn't need. That's not a purpose.
on the level that he created the world, he needs us.
It's like a movie.
Levels higher than that.
We need to watch a movie, but we like watching a movie.
Also create those lower levels.
Like a director. It's like something to do.
Oh, I wish.
What I'm saying, if you're listening, what I'm saying is, God is real. We got it all backwards. We try to think about God and consider whether he is as real as we are. We are not real. Don't use yourself as the yardstick for reality. God is real, and we are a little piece of his reality, not the other way around. So human beings sitting around thinking, is there a God? Isn't there a God? What are you doing? It's not a leap of faith. It's just plain intelligent. I didn't create myself. Conclusion? Come on.
I will say my brain.
I didn't need to be created. Conclusion?
Someone else needed me.
And this is cutting-edge psychology. The future of psychology is you don't have deep, frustrated needs. You have no needs. You didn't need to be born. You don't need to be here. You don't need anything. The fact that you need to eat, that's not your idea.
That's depressing.
You were created with the need to eat. So who needs you to eat?
God.
Yes.
That's depressing.
No, it isn't.
The problem.
It's liberating. I don't need anything, including to be religious. I don't need to be religious. I don't need to get to heaven. I don't need to be frum. I don't need to be perfect. I don't need anything.
I don't need
Fall into
friends.
addiction, die.
God needs friends.
And I wouldn't have to worry about a thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
You
Then.
gotta jump the shark there.
Oh, John.
So on the one hand, the burden is off of me. No more complexes. No more guilt.
That's not.
I don't
I'm
have
not
to.
Jewish.
I don't have to.
Not having guilt is.
And on the other
not
hand,
good.
I don't have to, and he needs me. That is a magnificent combination. I have a reason to be here, and it's not about me. That's so perfect. I'm here because I'm necessary, but it's not my problem. I don't know how we ever lived without that. How did we live all these years with this guilt complex and with this burden and with these obligations? You must, you have to.
Because guilt is...
You understand what I'm saying? It's like, why did it take us so long to figure this thing out? Don't tell me I have to. What's the worst that can happen? I'll die. So? That threat has got to go. Death cannot be the motivation for life. There's got to be a reason to live that isn't a threat.
But you just took away that reason.
Is there not?
Make sense?
The reason that God wants it. God needs it.
He needs, not me.
Then why live?
That's what's called serving God. Hello? We're all here to serve God.
What if you believe that but you don't care? Okay, so God needs me to live, but I don't care what God wants.
That's true because we were all raised thinking we have needs. And if I have needs, I don't want to hear about yours. Got my own problems. So if you come to a person today and say God needs, the reaction is, I got my own needs.
What happened to compassion and empathy and all that?
Maybe she made me more attractive that way.
So here's the punchline. If you want to be healthy and you want to have a meaningful life, this is your choice. You can think about how much you need him and how dependent you are on him. It's true. But that makes you needy. Or you can think about how much he needs you. And he needs you a lot more than you need him. If he needs you, then you are needed, not needy. If you had to choose, would you rather be needed or needy? Needed. What's the question?
Needed.
What's the question?
I choose needy.
Needy.
You would.
In this case, I'd rather be needy.
Yeah, seriously. I'd rather be in reason to
But in
live.
this case, I don't think.
Needy is
You do have a
depressing.
reason to live.
No, what you just said is depressing. No offense, but I just find it depressing.
Do you hear this? Do you hear what he's saying?
Yes.
I found that.
It's depressing to think that God needs you.
It's depressing to think that he needs you, but okay, not my problem.
No, it's depressing.
That's depressing?
In a way, yeah.
I don't get it.
To feel like you're needed by a greater, superior.
And if you don't care,
I don't care about that.
I think
depressing.
that's amazing. I think it's makes a whole new perspective.
what's depressing?
Depressing means there's no movement. There's nothing to live for.
It's depressing that life is not about you.
It's depressing that apparently life doesn't exist.
Yeah, but we did not get to that.
You said that.
We did not
None of
get
us are real. None of us are real.
No, but it might have sounded like we got there, but we didn't.
So that you
It sounded like that happened, but it
God,
didn't.
God needs you.
Because you're rearranging everything. You're scrambling all your thoughts.
Not to. But it's difficult.
So let me ask you something. If God created the world, doesn't that mean he needs something?
But the world,
Yeah.
but we don't exist. We're just
So from the first words in the Torah, what do you come away with? In the beginning, which means before there was you,
Before there was
he created the world. Duh.
He needs it.
But he needs nothing. Come on.
He does.
Of course he does.
No, he doesn't.
In fact, only the creator can need. If you're the created being, you don't need anything. You're the guest.
But do you mean that you can decide that you can just fall into a ditch and die?
Of course you can.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
But let's take it a step further. When you say, I need to eat, is that a correct statement?
Yes.
I was created.
We're created.
God needs me.
Fall into a kitchen die.
Yeah,
I need to eat?
God needs me.
Did somebody ask me if I need to eat? Did I ask to be dependent on food?
I'll talk to you about it later.
This is not my idea. In fact, I resent it. I'm insulted. I have to fight with the rabbit to get the carrot first.
Oh, too bad.
Oh, God,
This is so this is so depressing.
There's a reason.
I have to eat every couple of hours. What's wrong with me?
Well, why does it matter? We're just a thought.
And why do I have to sleep half my life? And why can't I breathe underwater like a fish?
Unless if you have insomnia, then you don't sleep.
So all of these things, first of all of these things should be called handicaps, not needs. I can't go without food. That's a handicap.
There we go.
Special needs.
That's what I needed. Here's my.
I cannot go without sleep. That's a handicap. I got things to do.